What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of The Mark Mo Show. My name is Mark Maloney. I'm your host, along with AK219, Aiden spelled the right way. Aiden Maloney, how are you, man?
Pretty fantastic. Glad it's the weekend.
Oh, for sure.
Feeling a little sus yesterday, but you know what? A lot of things have been sus recently.
Oh,
you know?
there's no question. We'll foreshadowing.
I know, right?
We'll definitely get to that. But yeah, I went out Friday night, and normal Friday, no excessive partying, drinking, anything like that, just the usual kind of stuff, I thought. Got home fine, went to bed, got up, felt like ass. I mean, just terrible. And I was like, what the... So it could have been a migraine, because I know migraines and like all the things that accompany it. So it could have been. I haven't had a migraine in a while, so I was probably due.
Yeah.
However, I usually stick to beer, especially if I'm driving, but I had a few, what do you call, Red Bull and vodkas, because number one, they're yummy, and number two, it has that caffeine. So if I'm like already a little bit tired, I'm like, maybe I'll do a vodka Red Bull.
A little pick-me-up.
A little pick-me-up, right? So maybe it was the Red Bull, I don't know, but man, it was a headache, and then I vomited once, and I was just like, what the hell? And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And I was like down, I wasn't functioning until like 3 p.m. And like I had plumbers in and out because they had to deal with some stuff in my place. And I'm just sitting there on the couch feeling like death. I'm like, this is awful. And I think they came in and out once, and I think the dude was like, oh, yeah, you were sleeping.
Oh,
man.
like,
well, I hope he didn't steal too much. He's like, oh, no worries. I'm like, I know. I don't have jack shit. But, yeah, it was crazy.
That's nuts, yeah. And that's always a bad feeling. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show before, but I know I've mentioned it to you. Is like, whether it comes to colds and flus or aches and pains, nothing bothers me that bad typically unless it's stomach-related. Yeah. Anything stomach related, especially since I went to the ER that one time when I was like 17 for my stomach. Anything stomach relating is just debilitating to me.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a genetic thing and we just got bad
We got the
tummies.
leftover parts. I was the last of 5, and then you guys were the offspring of the last of 5.
Right.
Sounds like an Iron Maiden song.
7th son of a 7th son. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we got the leftover parts, the eyes and the sinuses and the I mean, your grandfather, my dad, he had stomach issues. So he was always taking either Alka-Seltzer or Tums or whatever, and he had an ulcer. And so, so...
Oh, boy.
Go Maloney's.
Yay, we've done it.
God. Proud of the name. Not proud of all of our parts, I suppose. But at any rate, we're here, and we're live. Are you live?
Boy, do I feel like it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think by definition, I absolutely am.
Okay, that's good.
The one thing I always say to my coworkers when they ask, like, how you going, or, like, what's up? Living the beautiful dream.
Living the beautiful dream. Yeah, and indeed we are. And, it's kind of funny because, you walk that line between dreams and nightmares.
Yeah, nightmares are dreams.
Indeed they are. So we produce new content on a weekly basis, all podcast platforms, YouTube. We also have one-off interviews that we do, 2 or 3 a year. Well, not a year, a season, to be fair. And those are called Fireside Chats. You can find those same place on podcast and YouTube. And if you like the Mark Mo Show, check out my radio show, After Hours. It's on WVLP.org on the stream. TuneIn app on your handheld device. I hear you can even yell at Alexa. I mean, you can yell at her anyway, but if you yell After Hours, she might play the show.
Be careful with those AI robots. I've seen iRobot a time or two, and I think you're supposed to treat them kindly or something like that.
I think you're supposed to.
Lest they break the 3 rules of robotics.
That is correct. Little Isaac Asimov there. Yeah. I have to say, too, I saw it was a TV show, and they were talking about AI, more specifically like robots, and Japan and China and a few other countries are like probably way more advanced than we are.
I'm sure.
In terms of robotics that way.
Yeah.
And having these humanoid robots doing human things.
Right.
and it's kind of scary, right? They're jumping and they're hopping and they're picking things up and they're placing them other places. It's like, oh my God. But the one that freaked me out was a guy had a conversation with one. So they had the AI inside the bot, and he asked him a question, this robot, that apparently he didn't like, and he did, like, literally, if you remember wrestling as a kid, The Rock would raise his eyebrow. The thing literally did an eyebrow raise, like God. He was irritated with the question. And I'm like, nope, I want off this rock, man. It's just... Elon, can I jump? Well, maybe not Elon, because shit blows up, but maybe you head over to NASA.
Yeah,
can I borrow one of those shuttles of yours? I'm just leaving.
I'm trying to skedaddle.
I'm going to skedaddle, man. It is kind of cray-cray. But at any rate, the After Hours show is uninterrupted Celtic punk and alt-rock. Every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You should also check out Guys Being Dudes, and that's the AK219, and then Aiden Spelled the Right Way, which is, I guess it's fair to say, mostly, if not entirely, a gaming channel.
I would say so, yeah. It's a fantastic time. There's a video that came out today on this beautiful Mark Mo Show Saturday where I was building airplanes. It's like an airplane building simulator. And there's like a career mode and whatever, but I just went in the sandbox and kind of tooled around with it, building these silly-looking airplanes. I'm like, there's no way this flies. And it actually did. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, my years of making paper airplanes have paid off.
Right. So well, it's impressive going from bridge building to now making planes.
I know, right? I should be licensed in something by now.
I would think so.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it is a good time. And it's great content, so everybody should check that out. That is on YouTube?
Yes, YouTube, Patreon. Patreon is AK219 under that name, but YouTube is Aiden Spelled the Right Way. And you'll find it if you spell it the right way. It's like a litmus test.
It really is. It really is. What is the right way? Well, figure that out.
Exactly.
But at any rate, it is, as you said, a Mark Mo show Saturday morning. And we're actually recording on a Saturday morning because health and whatnot yesterday kind of sidetracked our usual recording schedule or schedule, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Right.
They're the same people that say aluminium.
Aluminium. Yeah. But to be fair to them, and usually I'm not fair to them, but I'll give them this one.
Yeah.
It is spelled with the extra I.
It is.
I believe. They do actually spell it. So
they just pronounce it.
Yeah. They pronounce it as it's spelled, and I think it's spelled stupid. But I think their pronunciation makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's as fair as I'll be with that type.
Yeah. Say less, dude. Say less. All right. Well, there's been quite a bit of news and this stuff in social media over the past couple of months about ice. And no, I'm not talking about the stuff you put in your drink or, you add cream, you got ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about immigration and customs enforcement. They've been scouring major cities and even rural communities, and they camp out in front of courts and homes and places of work, harassing anyone with, tannish skin, brown skin, or at least ethnic names. And you know this. Since about 2015, 2016, I've been making comps that this rise of Trump and MAGA and all this other kind of stuff was very similar to the rise of the Nazi Party in the 1930s. And of course, when you make those comps, people are like, oh, we're not Nazis, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, first off, read a book.
Right.
Secondly, I'm making comparisons to one rise to another based on historical events and things that happen.
Right.
It's a fair comparison. 100% fair comparison. I stood by it then. I stand by it today, even more so today.
Right.
And I look at ICE and how this administration, or dare I say, a dictator,
right,
utilizes them. It's very similar to how Hitler utilized the Gestapo, secret police. So it's kind of like it's our own little American Gestapo.
Right.
If you will. There's no due process. They swarm communities, grab as many as they can, whisk them away. I've heard they've got like a bonus, like a per head bonus. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Many times learning that people are picked up were naturalized. Work visas. They're born here,
they're
right?
Citizens, right?
They're citizens. And they actually sent, I can't remember that one guy's name, but they sent an American away to Central America for being nothing but Hispanic.
Right.
That's fucked up. And I'm going to try not to get off track, because it gets, as we say in our family, it gets our Irish up, so to speak. But the people are rising up, and the No Kings protest is considered one of the largest peaceful protests in world history. And not only have people made their feelings known, they're actually stepping up to ICE in many cases. Most recently at Dodger Stadium, when a caravan of ICE vehicles tried to enter, and hey, we're going to set up operations of blah, blah, blah. And the Dodgers told them to fuck right off.
Yep.
And a bunch of protesters are out there, and the cops escorted their ass off the property. And
the cops escorted ICE off the property.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. And I thought that's how it should work. That's exactly how this needs to work. And I think police are starting to get it, because a lot of times it's like, oh, there's people and there's 10,000 people protesting, so the police are like, well, we got to be prepared and whatever, and I get that. However, especially these days, the police should know, yep, you need to be standing with them on this. And I think some of them are getting that. So for our lovely local law enforcement, welcome to the party. We appreciate you. We need you with these crazy people. So that would be nice if that were to happen like it did in this case with the Dodgers. I think in Dallas there was a protest, and there were like 8 or 9 cops, and they got in the middle of the street and they all knelt down. And I was like, holy shit, what world are we living in right now?
Right.
I was just like, it's not bad. It's a good thing, but I'm just like, we need more of that than, that one reporter from Australia getting shot a rubber bullet in her leg. We don't. And I know, just like it is for protesters, you get a few dozen people out of thousands that throw rocks through windows or set something on fire, and then that's all people talk about, when it's like, okay, that was like a group of people, like a small portion of this movement.
Right.
And that's what you're going to be, oh, look at them. It's like, no. It's the same thing for the cops. It's like, they're out there, and they're doing their job, but you get a moron that shoots a bullet into some lady's leg, that's what we look at. And we're just like, nah, that's not okay. So, hopefully, and I'm being hopeful, because in this movement against the feds and against ICE and against what the hell is happening in Washington, the people are going to need local law enforcement. They were going to need them to stand with us, to serve and protect, I believe.
As they should.
As
they're supposed to.
As they're supposed to. We're not telling you to throw rocks through windows. Just stand with us. Stand with the people that you're sworn to serve and protect. That's all we're saying. And it shouldn't matter what color their skin is, by the way. Because to some, apparently, that's you. But anyway, everything that's going on with ICE and the feds and things that are coming out of Washington is just unacceptable and un-American, without question. We all have grandparents and great-grandparents, maybe great-great-grandparents, that all made that trip across the Atlantic Ocean for a better opportunity. My grandfather on my dad's side, he came across from Ballyhonus, Ireland, and we had relatives come across from Germany as well. Many made that crossing with sacks of clothes on their back and a few bucks in their pocket. And they came through Ellis Island. They were greeted by Lady Liberty and the words of poet Emma Lazarus. And it kind of goes like this. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air, a bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Golden door. Yeah. Today that door leads to a masked goon squad ready to ship you back where you came from. And it's pretty damn embarrassing. This nation, a nation, first off, of Native American tribes, tossed aside by European invaders, was developed on the backs of the Irish, Italians, Polish. The railroad system couldn't have been built without the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean immigrants. American agriculture in the West and Southwest would crumble without the contributions of Hispanic immigrants. And don't even get me started on the slave trade and the contributions of hardworking black men and women. Many of us appreciate their contributions and embrace America as a great cultural melting pot. It is what makes America great. However, there are those that are perhaps ignorant at best and racist at worst. They don't give a shit. They don't understand or care about those words posted by Lady Liberty. Well, to those individuals, I can quote a more modern poet, musician Jack White of the White Stripes, going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations. White Americans, what? Nothing better to do? Why don't you kick yourselves out? You're an immigrant too. Who's using who? What should we do? Well, you can't be a pimp and a prostitute too.
Truer words never been spoken.
Hell yeah. So now that my TED Talk is finished, now that I'm off my soapbox, I know Aiden also has a lot to say.
Right. I was looking at this, or I have been looking at this from a legal standpoint, kind of since this ICE takeover started. And it's worrisome from that legal standpoint that, first of all, the Constitution seems to be thrown out the window.
Just, yeah.
Absolutely thrown out the window.
Just useless.
Federal laws aren't being followed because what jurisdiction does ICE have going into these communities and doing all this? They don't.
Correct.
And then you have, like you were saying, state and local law enforcement that have a decision to make. Do you want to become a target of the Trump administration by doing your job, serving and protecting the communities that, fucking pay your paycheck?
There you go.
Or are you going to fold and you're going to side with the feds to avoid a potential retaliation?
Right.
That's another issue, and that's another question that we're still kind of early into this ordeal of a supposed 4-year tenure, and it's alarming. And another alarming part is how defended legally these ICE Gestapo officers are.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to identify themselves. They go out wearing masks, carrying lethal weapons, no badge. All you see is masked white men with guns, and you're just supposed to follow every order. I'll get in the back of this van. Really? That's what federal agents are doing now.
That's it. Yeah.
Disturbing, because hey, for all you Second Amendment folks out there, especially in states like Indiana where we are, where you have, castle doctrine, stand your ground laws, if someone like that or a group of people like that roll up onto my property, I'm within my legal right to kill them.
Sure.
Federal agents, because guess what? You didn't identify yourself.
Yep.
You're not holding a badge. You are masked people in a van or box truck with guns. It is a matter of time before there will be firefights on the streets.
Correct. You're right.
And that's just going to become more ammunition for these fear-mongering shitlords, cough cough right-wing media, to defend actions like, for say, martial law in the future.
Sure.
Or a complete federal takeover of state and local governments where, there is no states' right. Oh, hey, that's a call out for the 2A people and states' right people. Oh, right. I've been awfully silent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's really concerning from a legal point. And that's kind of where my brain went when you kind of tossed up this idea of like, hey, I've got an idea for this opening dialogue, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a while too. Is like, I don't know what the future looks like. realistically, with these type of actions, because it's legal for me to take action to defend myself,
Sure.
whoever's on my property itself, and it's illegal what ICE is doing,
Yeah.
and yet there's no one enforcing them. In
No.
fact, they're being told to go out and do what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's this weird cross, and also, God forbid you do get in a firefight with these people and you're legally in the right, and some Trump judge is like, oh, well, laws don't matter. Well, clearly they don't, but laws don't matter, so you're going to fucking El Salvador or whatever.
And even most judges have been against what the Trump administration
Right.
is doing. They're just ignoring them.
Right, who's going to enforce it?
Who's going to enforce it? Law enforcement. Whose side are they on? Hey,
Yeah.
there you go. Nobody's going to go in there. The FBI, who's run by, oh God, what's that guy's name? He's a clown.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it.
No.
The AG's not going to do anything. The head of the FBI is not going to do anything. So if you already know that, you just do whatever you
Right.
want.
Right.
You do whatever you want, and it's scary and it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, and embarrassment is an understatement.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's as you say, if they're going to come to your home, go on your property, and as you say, not have a warrant, show ID, any of that sort of stuff, you're well within your right to protect yourself.
Right.
100%. And those are their words.
Right.
Those are the Second Amendment people. Those
Yeah.
are their words.
And laws.
There's how many ranchers in Oregon that one time were just like packed. They packed and locked, loaded
Yeah.
everything, and they were just telling federal law enforcement, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, how crazy of them. And then when you think back on it, I'm like, maybe not as crazy as we thought.
Right.
Maybe not as crazy as we thought. So yeah, you have a right to protect yourself and a right to protect your family and your property. You should do so. I think the biggest disadvantage to part of his plan, whatever his plan is, and it always amazes me. Everything is 2 weeks for this clown. It's in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks, and 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, Jesus, it makes you wonder who's actually driving the ship. But the one thing they can't count on is the thing that they stand behind, which is the Second Amendment, because you have more guns in circulation in the United States than actual people in
Right.
the United States.
Right.
So that potentially could work against them.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And should.
Yep.
That's
the whole...
it wasn't, I should have a gun because I can have a gun. No. You have a gun in case your tyrannical government steps up and you can fight and take it back.
Right.
That was the whole point of that.
That's the point of the law.
That's the point
Yeah.
of it. And so we might be moving more towards that.
That's kind of what I've been hinting at whenever we take angles like this of like, I don't want there to be a violent revolution, but every day that passes, it seems like that's going to be the inevitable outcome.
Right. Yep. And it's unfortunate, but you have to defend yourself and your family and your property.
Yeah.
For life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Isn't
Yep.
that what it frickin' says?
It's supposed to be.
Christ.
At least it's promising that we outnumber these fucking fools like 330 million to, what, a couple tens of thousand?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Just takes that whole well-regulated part of the militia that amendment talks about. Takes a little community organization.
Now, see, that's the funny thing about Constitution people. They're very similar to the Bible people. And that is...
cherry picking. My favorite.
Cherry pickers. They're both cherry pickers. They just sit there and they'll go boop, 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 and I'll use those. And well, no. It's an all-you-can-eat. It's a buffet. It's all out there, and you have to stand by all of it, including the Old Testament, including the fire and brimstone crazy-ass God. That's all part of it.
Right.
That's all part of it. That's your guy, so you got to stand...
Can't play revisionist history on this one.
No, you really can't, and it's the same thing with the Constitution. I'm like, read it.
Yeah.
Read it. And amendment people just... I mean, it just cracks me up. It's called an amendment. To amend means to be able to change.
Right.
You know, when these old school farmers and shopkeepers and stuff were like, hey, we got to put a nation together. And these guys got together and did it. They were smart guys. They knew what they wanted to do, but they also wanted to set it up so that as time moves forward, that you had the ability to change it with the times and conditions. And I thought that is, in itself, that's what makes the Constitution brilliant. And people look at an amendment like it's a commandment. No, it's not. It's, for example, used to be cool to have slaves, right? They changed that shit.
Yeah.
And it's in there. Same thing with prohibition. Oh my God, alcohol is going to be the downfall of America. And then it was like, nah, there's probably bigger fish to fry. These people need something to drink.
Yeah.
And they change that shit. That's what it's about, okay? So even those that love their guns, that's an amendment. That is an amendment. And you know how quickly, if Trump or anybody after him who's, kind of in this dictator phase and that's the direction they're trying to move, how easily they could be like, now guess what I'm going to do to them?
Right.
I'm going to take their guns, which is the thing they worried the other party was going to do.
Right.
And they better wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's pretty obvious to me what's going on. But
my favorite quote with this type of individual, whether it's Hitler wannabe or some evangelistic fanatic for said Hitler wannabe, every accusation is a confession. What they are fear-mongering to you that, the scary blue party's going to do, they've been thinking about.
Oh, sure.
They've been thinking about doing in order to take control.
100%.
That's my point.
No, and that's a great point. And it's just kind of how we're living in this whole thing with ICE and basically a judicial that it means nothing right now.
Right, because who's going to enforce it?
Who's going to enforce it, right? So it's just kind of scary, the direction that they're moving. But the funny thing is they told you exactly what they were going to do, and you still voted them in. Well, maybe. I don't know. That might have to be something we talk about next week or the week after. But perhaps this will be a little foreshadowing. There was a district in New York, 80% Democrat, so heavy blue district in New York. And down ballot, they were blue across everything. Kamala didn't get one vote. Didn't get one out of a heavy blue district.
Right.
I don't know how the hell that wasn't an alarm.
Right.
The night of the election, how those numbers didn't come in and someone go, whoa, that doesn't look right. Now, I'm not saying I'm all-knowing, although for Star Trek fans, you can call me Q if you want. But all I'm going to say is the night of the election, as the numbers were coming in, I immediately said to Aiden, I said, these numbers don't look right.
Right.
Immediately, I said, these numbers don't look right. I said, how is it that Trump, overall, can get less votes than he did in 2020 and win this thing? How did she, 64 million? I forget what her number was.
Right.
But they were saying earlier in the day what an amazing turnout it was, yet it was so much less than the Biden election, and she's sitting at like 64, and he was at, 86 or whatever. I'm like, where'd all those votes go?
Right.
They didn't go to Trump because he's got less. Where did they go?
Right. And then you have all the correspondence between him and Elon Musk and all these private vote counting companies of like, oh, well, I'm sure we're going to win Pennsylvania. We had some help over there. Oh, what was that then? Mm-hmm. What was that then?
Right. Because during the entire election process, and this is a completely different thing, we'll get more into this maybe in the coming weeks, but during the whole process, even though it was relatively close, 3, 4, 5 points, never was Pennsylvania in the red.
No.
In any polling. Never. And then that night they went red. And it was like, wait a minute.
Right.
So I just think they found a way to nickel and dime across a lot of these districts to get the numbers that they need.
Right. And to bring it back to a point I made not 5 minutes ago, every accusation being a confession.
Yes.
What type of fucking moron cries foul, election fraud, election interference for 4 years and then wins. From 2020 to 2024 and then
wins on election interference. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a little foreshadowing. We'll get into that down the road. But it was worth bringing up the ICE thing, or as I call them, the American Gestapo. I know if I saw them in the streets of Valpo, I got a bat in my car. I got a pocket knife. I'll stand in the street.
Yeah.
They can go fuck themselves.
Yep.
And, if they don't have a warrant and there's no due process, they can get the hell off our streets.
Right.
That's the way.
I agree. I agree.
Anyway, now they're all wound up, we're gonna check out here, and after a quick break, we're gonna get to Carpe Diem. All right, we are back from the break, and it's time for Carpe Diem. That is a little segment we have where you find folks send us your DMs, and we read them on air. And it could be anything. Could be a statement, could be a question. I'll answer that question. Well, if we want to answer. We may.
Yeah.
As we always say, we're not obligated.
Right. We may gift you an answer.
Gifting, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really more what it is. So
We're like Santa Claus.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. Ho, ho, ho. All right, Aiden, what do you got on your DMs this week?
The DMs I got this week. This person decided to stay anonymous, just calling themselves Concerned Fellow, asking, with the seemingly dangerous world of social media, how do you think it should be regulated when it comes to minors? They add a side note, France is floating the idea of banning it for those under 15 years. I didn't know about that France thing until recently.
Yeah.
But I did hear that, the French government's floating the idea of banning social media for those under 15. I don't really know how to feel about that. I think having access to social media is one of those personal liberty things where, typically it should be dealt with through parents or teachers or principals, whoever, nannies, I think should have the control. I don't think it's really an issue for the government to deal with. I do think what could be regulated is like the difference between YouTube and YouTube Kids. It's like YouTube created a platform with safe content for children to view. There could be a Instagram equivalent or a Facebook equivalent, a TikTok equivalent of that YouTube Kids formula.
Yep.
I don't know how you would mandate it or regulate that to be a norm, but I do kind of understand what this Concerned Fellow's getting at, because of all of the studies that show, the links between depression and anxiety to social media and how social media can worsen them. So I get it. I just don't know how you would implement it besides just whoever the guardian is of that child, just making sure, like, hey, don't spend too much time on Facebook and TikTok and everything. Right.
Yeah, that's true. And here's the way I look at it too. I understand the need to kind of have their own space, and I think that's important. But here's the thing: a couple things that they're not really looking at. And number one, if they're under 18, it's the parent's responsibility to parent the damn kid.
Right.
So if they're on and they're always on their phone, I'm guessing the parent's probably paying for the damn phone. You have every right to say, hand over your phone. I want to see what you're doing. Every right in the world to do that.
Right.
So parents should parent, is all I'm saying. I don't want the government parenting my kids. I will parent my kids.
I agree. Yeah.
And if I raise them properly, they're going to do what's right anyway. Look, I was a kid. We didn't have social media then, but I would lie if we didn't say, a friend would come up, hey man, so we're going over to Billy's later. We're going to hang out at his fort. He's got one of his dad's Playboys. And then you'd all go over and be like, ooh, and you'd sit there and do. So any quote unquote questionable content has always been available to kids of any age. And I still believe if parents do a good enough job in raising your kids to have something in between their ears and to look at things the right way, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Number two, bullying takes many forms. I didn't have social media. I got bullied. And there are some kids that don't handle that well, whether it is face-to-face, which is what I used to deal with, or if it is now online bullying.
Right.
Because people can hide behind their computers, maybe even under a fake alias.
Right.
And just bully the shit out of someone to the point where they go, well, fuck this. And they go hang themselves, they shoot themselves, or OD or whatever. When I was a kid, we had kids that killed themselves. And they blamed it on metal music, and they blamed it on this and blamed it on that. Instead of blaming it on bullies and the failure of schools and parents to deal with it.
Right.
That's what I dealt with. My father taught me to box and to use it for defense only, because parenting.
Right.
And what did I do? Somebody bullied me. I punched them in the face. And it's amazing how effective that can work. Now, you run the risk of some school official running out being like, Maloney, you're scrapping again, and then you're suspended and whatever. But in the scraps that I did have, did I ever get suspended from grade school to high school? I did not, because you have to be smart about what you do. It's this kid Al in high school, and he bullied me. And the whole time I'm just like, if I ignore him, this fat fuck's just going to go away. And he didn't. And then one time we were out by the wrestling room. I had an injury and couldn't partake in gym for a couple weeks. And I think he just couldn't because he was fat.
Oh, no.
And stupid, but I mean, that's just whatever. Obviously, he was stupid. And I literally jacked his ass up. We were in the hallway outside the wrestling room, and they're wrestling in there. I hit this kid so hard, he was gasping for air, and he's on the ground. The wrestling coach comes out of the room, and he looks at me. He's like, Maloney. And I looked dead at him, pan-faced, and said, asshole had it coming. Coach was like, fair enough. He's like, you're in detention, and pointed to the kid gasping for air on the ground because he knew better.
Right.
But sadly, that isn't what happens most times.
Right.
But from the social media side, once again, you just got to parent and you got to deal with it. I think as a parent, today, it was different even when I raised you guys because it wasn't as prevalent, or it was just becoming prevalent.
Right.
MySpace and whatever else was going in. It was harmless relatively. And I think today, like, literally, I'd be like, you can have a phone. You can have it for X amount of time a day. You can have it when you go to school in case of emergencies, but you're not to be on it, like, for other shit. Just like, oh, school shooting, grab your phone, whatever. That's why you have it. And if you're home and your schoolwork's done or whatever, want to get on there, play games, whatever, I'm fine with it. But I think you just got to parent.
Right.
You got to parent and teach your kids the right stuff, and I think you're fine.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you have to walk the fine line of providing that guidance and oversight while also allowing their own privacy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it is just one of those fine line things. But then, of course, you've got, like, little tools, especially in Apple. I'm pretty sure Samsung has the same thing. Yep. Where you can just set, like, time limits. Like, okay, you only get, like, 2 hours of TikTok a day.
Whatever.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, concerned fellow, there's your answer from people from two different generations.
That's right.
You're welcome. Time Peasant asks,
Ooh.
I'm no time lord, but I can offer this. You can either pause time for 10 seconds a day at your will, or pause time for 10 minutes, but just once a week.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the utility of doing such a thing. I think...
Is it in the aggregate to... Sorry to interrupt. Is it in the aggregate to maybe add more time to your life?
You could do it like that. My first thought was crime. My first thought was crime. Is like, okay, so I'll do like the 10 minutes a week thing, and then I'll find some multinational bank I hate, looking at you, Wells Fargo, and then, like, allegedly, in this hypothetical world, I would just take 10 minutes, steal what I can, because they're all paused. I'm not. And then I could just, like, get my fingers dirty, get some money. They would never know.
Okay.
So I'm leaning towards the 10 minutes a week in this hypothetical world, but my first thought was absolutely crime.
Okay, Mark Mo Show fans, I feel you judging me because I literally just got done saying about raising your children the right way, and now my son is pausing time to knock off a bank. So, hey, what happens after they turn 18, I can't...
That's what we call a parenting win.
A parenting win.
Because your child has the ingenuity to do that.
That's fair. That is a fair question. And I do not at all disagree with your point.
Sure.
Of view on that.
I'm like the Robin Hood, but I would only give a little bit to other people. I would mainly like make sure I'm set. But of course I'm a charitable person, okay?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm thinking. So, you go into Wells Fargo, right? You pause time, you run in there, grab a sack, bop, 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 and you're out the door before your 10 minutes is up. All of a sudden, Susie's register is empty, and now Susie's like, yes, sir, can I help you? Oh, sure, no problem. Click.
Or no.
Now Susie's fired. So now that is going to weigh heavy on you because now somebody just got fired because all the money's gone, or they think she stole it.
Sure.
And now the popo's going to come. If she's Hispanic, ICE is going to come.
Right.
That's just hashtag the truth. And now that's that problem. Now, I would consider doing the same thing. All that being said,
sure,
I would consider doing the same thing. But then there's parts of me that goes back to an earlier conversation too, where I think there's an Adam Sandler movie where he could rewind, click,
yeah,
and like David Hasselhoff was his boss and he was an ass. And then one time he like paused it and he was just like smack,
yeah,
smack, smack, smack. And then he like unpaused it. He's like, whoa, I got a headache. So it's just like I see that and I'm just like, oh, every person that is wrong to me, it would be so great to just like do something, in that fashion. And then parts of me would just be like, jump in the ocean, pause, go right up to a shark and be like, what you gonna do? What you gonna bite me? You go, oh, smack, smack in the nose. Oh, you gonna bite me? And then get out of the water.
Yeah.
Before it's unpaused, before he's like, oh, this guy. So yeah, there's a lot of, I think there's some fun things you can do.
Yeah.
But setting yourself up financially, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
And I think the 10 minutes a week has more applicable.
Yes, I agree.
Things to do than 10 seconds
10 seconds,
a day.
it's just not enough.
Yeah. Doesn't even add up to the same amount.
No.
Last DM I received, Hambone asks,
Hambone.
Besides Hambone, what's the worst baby name you've ever heard? I didn't expect Hambone's name to actually be Hambone. That's new lore.
I love this, by the way.
That's new lore drop right there. Well, Hambone is kind of a rough baby name, that's for sure.
It's rough.
My first thought always goes to like those Ashley, but it's got like a GH in there. Ashley. I'm like, why can't you just fucking spell it normal?
Right.
Or like Riley, but it's like Rileigh. I'm like, what are we doing, boys?
Yeah.
Or like those... It's usually people in the South. I don't mean to generalize, but it's usually people in the South that'll just name their kid like Rifle.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why?
It's another kind of a South and Western thing too, to name your kid after a state or a city. It's my son Dallas. What do the Cowboys play on him? What's that? This is Dakota. Dakota and Dallas. Okay, great. You're a big geography fan, clearly. Yeah, so yeah, I'm right there. If your name's Dakota and Dallas, you listen to the show, I love you. But it's just...
It's more of calling out your parents.
It's calling out your parents. It's their damn fault. It should be Larry and Bob. At any rate, yeah, that's one thing.
This is my daughter, New Hampshire.
But, oh, God. Until she ages, and then she's Old Hampshire. But okay, this is a true story. I knew someone growing up that worked in a hospital on the south side of Chicago. And she came back. She always has stories. Like, people that work in hospitals and police officers have the best stories because it's just chaos is their business. And so she came back one day, blah, blah, this woman, and she's like, she went from 0 to 60 like that. She was like, came in, yep, contractions, blah, blah. Oh, shit, it's coming. And it was like, whoa.
Oh, okay.
And so she was in the bathroom when she went in there, and they delivered the baby in the bathroom. They had no time to get this woman to where she needed to be. The kid's name,
oh no,
swear to God, Toyletta.
Oh my God.
Toyletta. And Toyletta, if they're out there, I love you. But I'm mom.
How horrible.
Yeah. Toyletta.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you were born on the shitter. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Isn't that bad?
I mean, what do you even go by? Letta? I mean,
toy, maybe?
That's weird.
Even that's weird. I'm a toy. None of that works. None of that works.
Terrible. Wow.
Yeah. I never forgot that. I heard that in high school. I was like, what? No, you're lying. Nope. That is true. I'm like, damn. All right. Well, I've got a few as well. At Weird Larry Hi, guys. Do you think the United States is changing, and will it never be the same again?
Weird Larry, my man. Great username. Yeah, it's been changing, and no, it will never be the same again.
It'll never be the same. It'll never be the same. And not to say it'll never be the same as in, like, America in the 50s, which was racist and crazy, and then before that was, like, the Industrial Revolution, and before that, it was what we did to the Native Americans, and before that. So, not that any particular time in America was perfect. There was always bad shit. But this is like bad shit, and it's becoming permanent.
Right.
To me, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So we're
on a global stage, America will never be viewed the same again.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. You'll like this one. At Best Feet Pics.
Oh no.
I sell feet pics on the internet.
Makes sense.
I make $100K per year. My family makes me feel like shit for what I do, but they work shitty jobs for shitty money and live in a shitty home in a shitty neighborhood. I have a condo downtown and a 2024 Ford Bronco that's paid for. They can suck it.
Oh my God.
That might be one of the best ones I ever got.
Well, at Best Feet Pics.
Good on you.
More power to you. You know, don't let them feel bad for you making racks, dog. I mean, you know, maybe they're just jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they're just jealous, and, you know, I would say be the bigger person. Don't rub it in their face, but rub it in their face.
Rub it.
You know, if they're being assholes,
yeah,
you don't always have to be the bigger person.
No,
you can make the decision of, like, you know what, I'm going to be an asshole today. I'm going to be an asshole back today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So best of luck, Best Feet Pics.
Yeah, no doubt.
Your career doesn't interest me unless you could find a way for my feet to be profitable and then cut me in.
And get a cut.
Then we can talk.
For sure. Good on you. Anytime you could find a way to make money.
In this fucking world?
In this world, take it. Take the money. I don't judge anybody for what they do. Especially if you enjoy what you're doing. Who am I to judge you?
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing it and you're having a blast and you're making that cash, you know, you're the one that's going to be retired by the time you're 40.
Right.
And they're still going to have those shitty jobs and the shitty house and all that.
The shitty neighborhood.
And the shitty money. I love that. I love that so much. At White Sox Jerry.
Oh, my man.
They are giving me hope. I mean, they suck, but some of these players are good. Should I let them get my hopes up? Good days, bad days. Like life, I suppose.
Very poetic, Jerry. I think he's come around. He's emotionally matured since last season.
He's searching hard for that silver lining.
No, I agree. I don't know if it's... I'm not going to give you the silver lining. I would advise you not to let them give you the silver lining.
Yeah.
Because the one thing we have in common, White Sox Jerry, it's not baseball, it's football. Because you're still a Chicago guy, which means we're both Bears fans, Jerry. And how many times have we allowed the Chicago Bears to get our hopes up?
Many, many times.
Just for them to crush it. So I would say take that advice.
Yeah.
How you treat the Bears is how you should treat the Sox.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Last one I've got here for this week, at Stoner Stanley 420.
Brother.
Hello, Momo and Alan. Watch for yourself.
Oh, no.
There is some man's selling ice, and if you don't buy it, they will take you. My friend Diego is gone.
Oh, my God.
He should have bought the ice, I guess.
I would recommend, especially to those in Stoner Stanley's circle, don't buy ice. Don't search for ice because you may receive a product you didn't intend to smoke, if you will.
Right.
But yeah, I think he and we are talking about the same ice. I don't know if he's getting it though.
No, I think he's confused on the ice that's really not good for you versus the ice that's really not good for you.
Versus the ice that makes a clink when it hits your glass.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
I'm just thinking of the bags of like that Best City ice that's like $2, you get 7 pounds of ice.
Yeah.
So now we're thinking of 3 different types of ice.
Right.
None of which I think Stoner Stanley has correct.
No, he's very confused, but obviously he's had a life.
Yeah.
I'm being kind. He's had a life. He's definitely had a life. And before we get to this next segment, I just want to based on ICE talk today. I had someone who shared a comment on social media. And this is the good part of social media, right? You know, people that like share funny shit. This one girl I know, she's Hispanic, and she said, "Yo, I drink my horchata warm. Fuck ice." And I was like, "That's amazing." I'm like, "That is amazing."
That's great.
I love that. Now, before we get to our next break, we have the other foods with Aiden. He takes that deep dive into foods. You know, people are consuming this stuff, but most of us will look at it and go, "Oh my God, that it looks revolting," and I bet it smells equally revolting.
Yes.
But every week, Aiden finds them, and so I'm very interested to see what we got this week.
This week I found a little something that sounds as dangerous and gross, I believe, as it actually is. And, you know, there's a whole thing in 2020, lots of rumors and misinformation about this animal relating to food and things like that. Well, this is an actual food with this actual animal, fruit bat soup.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Now, I got nothing against bats. They eat mosquitoes and stuff. That's
Right,
all
they do good stuff.
Fantastic. But they shouldn't go near my mouth or being.
Agreed.
Fruit bat soup out of Guam, though. This article, of course, from Disgusting Food Museum, because their research is fantastic. Quote, during cooking, the bats smell strongly of urine. However, the meat is described as sweet and similar to chicken. The soup was so popular that the Guam fruit bat was hunted to extinction.
Holy shit.
Because humans always find a way to fucking do that.
Yes, we do.
The bats in Guam eat large amounts of cicad seeds, accumulate large amounts of toxins that, when the bats are then consumed by humans, cause disease, like neurodegenerative diseases, similar to like ALS and Parkinson's and things like that, simply because of the toxins in the bats. It was first reported in 1904.
Oh, damn.
This food has been around a while, and included paralysis in the death certificates.
Oh, no way.
Just because people were out there like, oh, I think I'll try the fruit bat soup today. It was the... in Guam, in this... Oh, yeah, we're looking at pictures of it.
Holy God.
It's nasty.
That's vile.
Yeah. In this certain part of Guam, it was the leading cause of death between 1945 and 56. The cicad seeds build up large amounts of toxins in the fatty tissue, specifically of the bat, causing this disease in humans that eat the flesh of the bats. The bats are eaten in the Pacific Rim and Asia, including Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and of course Guam. Fruit bats are a commonly eaten bat, eating only fruit, and their taste is described similar to chicken, of course. In Guam, the flying fox bat is also a common dish, and of course was eaten so much it became endangered. Bats can be barbecued, their quote, not mine, bats can be barbecued, grilled, or deep fried, making it possible, we were just looking at an image of this, making it possible to eat the whole bat.
Nope. Mm-mm.
The whole bat, baby.
No. No way. No. Not now, not never.
Oh, not a big fruit bat soup guy?
No. No. I saw the movie Contagion. Fuck those bats.
Yeah.
I ain't eating them.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere near them.
I found it hilarious, too, of seeing the stats of, like, once 2020 and COVID happened, the quantity of people re-watching the movie Contagion exploded.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
I'm like, oh my God, it's like watching documentaries of, like, plane crashes while you're flying somewhere.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's like, y'all are crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. It's totally bad. All right, we are going to take, on that note, go get yourself some fruit bat soup, and we'll be right back for our feature segment, You Just Made the List. We are back, and it is time for You Just Made the List. And this week, it's a fun one. We're two big music guys here. We love music. And this week, we are doing the greatest guitarists as we see it, which I guess is
subjective,
really
but
all that matters.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But we do offer, if you make a list at home, send it to us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're all about that. Get us on the the socials, Mark Mo Show podcast has a page. Aiden, and Aiden spelled the right way. You can find him on YouTube.
AK219.
AK219. And then Mark Maloney's all over the place. Maloney Media, all that stuff on all the different socials. So reach out, share any of that stuff with us. We love the engagement for sure. So this week, greatest guitarists.
Nice.
That is broad as hell because of music.
Right.
So I'm going to start out. I got some honorable mentions. Alex Skolnick of Testament is amazing. I had to pick these three together because I had to.
Yeah.
So Dave Murray, Yannick Gers, Adrian Smith, all of Iron Maiden, all of them just a little bit different, but together, chef's kiss, clean.
Right.
KK Downing, formerly of Judas Priest, he's since retired, but was great. And then Frank Hannon with Tesla, excellent guitarist. And they just played. They played in New Buffalo, Michigan last night. So I wish I would have known. Sometimes these things pop up out of nowhere. But at any rate, we're going to get to my top 10. Number 10, Tom Morello.
My man.
Yep. F you won't do what you tell me. Why did I say F you? We've been saying fuck all show.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, if we haven't insulted people already, I mean, whatever. Although, that's a funny story because I played this I was on terrestrial radio, which my after-hours show is, but I used to have this show in a different iteration on regular radio where we have to be adherent to the FCC rules and regulations and all that. So I do this show, and this was after the things that happened up in Minnesota where they knelt on the guy and the cops killed him and whatever. So I did this show that was kind of a revolutionary show, but it was just kind of supporting the black community. So this was one of my songs, and so I put the whole show together. I recorded it from my home studio, and I sent it to the radio station. Not 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, oh, shit.
I got the wrong version of Killing in the Name.
Yeah, I got the wrong version of Killing in the Name. I got a hold of the station manager. I'm like, hey, I'm going to send you another file. I had to radio edit this song and play the second one. Sure, I got it. Well, I'm listening to the live record. I'm sitting at home one night. I think I had the news on or a ball game. I forget what I had on, but I'm just chilling at home. And then kind of in the background, I had the show on, and this song comes up. Fuck you, I won't do it. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, no. No. And I literally texted him. I said, dude, you played the wrong version. I said, right now, fuck you is all over the airwaves. And he was just kind of like, no, all right, I'll switch it out for Friday. I'm like,
oh, my God.
He's kind of like, oh, damage is done. If FCC's listening, we're going to get a ding for sure. But yeah, that's love you, Tom Morello. Number 9, Prince. Vastly underrated in the world of guitar playing. Yep. He did that one Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, My Guitar Gently Weeps, and he's on stage with some of the best players of all, and he just brought the house down. Absolutely amazing. And him playing at halftime of the Super Bowl, and it was a Bears Super Bowl, mind you.
Yep.
Blew my freaking mind. I'm like, this guy's a god. He's just an absolute god.
What a G.
Not the god, a god. But he could be the god. I don't know.
Well? If only he was around to ask him.
God, I wish.
Yeah.
I always lose the good ones. Number 8, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Very bluesy, great player. Number 7, Tony Iommi.
Nice.
Black Sabbath. Fantastic. Some of his riffs just unbelievable. Just fantastic. Number 6, Pete Townshend of The Who. That dude, I mean, he was deaf at such a young age because he just played so loud and stood right in front of that amp.
Right.
He didn't give two shits. And just twirled the guitar and just like everything he did, just amazing. Number 5, Steve Vai. He's done a lot of solo stuff. He's played with David Lee Roth. He's played with Whitesnake. He's just amazing. He's just an incredible player. Number 4, Eric Clapton. They call him Slow Hand. Hopefully that had to do with guitar playing. But yeah, he's one of the all-time greats for sure. Number 3, Eddie Van Halen. With his tap style. He didn't have formal training. He literally picked up a guitar in a garage one day and just learned and played.
Right.
And I love that. And he had this tapping that he does with the guitar. And videos were very big at the time. And David Lee Roth was like, look, when you're playing and we're doing these videos and all this other stuff, don't do close-ups of what you do with your hands because he's thinking like a businessman, which
Right.
is, to be fair, David Lee Roth, that's what he was. He was really more of a businessman than a music guy. Sammy Hagar, of course, more the musician. But he was just like, look, dude, what you do, nobody else does, so don't show them what
Right.
you do. And I totally got that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Eddie was amazing. And number 2, Jimi Hendrix.
What a G.
Dude's playing shit with, and it's actually on fire. I mean, the guy was just incredible. And some of my favorite tunes. I think he was just way ahead of his time in terms of his guitar playing and the music. So, yeah, that's it.
That's good.
Leave my number 1.
That's good. I have a top 11 list.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because
well, wait a minute.
just like all amps, they have to be turned up to 11.
I love that. But wait, we have to consult the rules first. We didn't discuss the rules and what we do. We do 10 to 2. Our number 1 big reveal.
Oh, damn it.
And see, we
Did I break
missed
a rule?
Well, let's see. Hang on. Oh, there's only one rule. That there are no rules.
Oh, thank God.
So you're good. So turn that amp up to 11.
So my bit makes sense.
Your bit makes sense now.
Number 11 on my list, Prince.
Yep.
What a G. Fantastic guitarist. And just a great presence in the music industry.
No doubt.
Number 10, Jack White. Had to put him up on there.
Oh, that's a good call.
Number 9, I put these two together, James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett.
Oh, that's good.
I think their chemistry is fantastic.
Yep.
Number 8, Tony Iommi, of course. What a G. Number 7, I threw Jeff Beck on there.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah,
Beck was good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. This dude, I just love his sound. Carlos Santana, I have on number 6.
It's another good one.
Number 5 on my list, Tom Morello, like you said. Number 4, Jimmy Page.
Ooh.
What a legend. What a G. Number 3, I had Eddie Van Halen. Then I went back a little bit for my number 2, Chuck Berry.
I love that.
What a G.
Chuck, it's your cousin, Marvin. Marvin Berry, you know that new sound you've been looking for?
Listen to this.
Listen to this. That's awesome. I love it. Well, you have your number 1. I have my number 1. They are different this week. Sometimes we align perfectly. I had Jimmy Page.
There you go.
But then again, I just got done watching a documentary on Led Zeppelin, which we're going to talk about in a hot second. But Jimmy was just an absolute musician. What he did, just unbelievable on the guitar. And there's really never, I don't think, going to be anybody like that dude.
Right.
In terms of the playing, because some of their music is just so different. Like some is just so heavy and bluesy, and then other stuff is so up tempo and jam.
Yeah.
Like he can do it all.
That's true.
He can absolutely do it all. So, Jimmy, you're my dude.
My man. Well, your number 2 was my number 1. I had Jimi Hendrix as the number 1 on this list.
I love that.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Yep.
He was so incredibly good.
Gone too soon. Like a lot of musicians.
Unfortunately, no doubt. But like we said earlier, if you've got a list, share it with us.
Let us know. Yeah, what did we miss?
Yeah,
because we tend to miss a couple things.
Oh, for sure.
Even between the both of our brains.
Yep, indeed we do. And you know, there's so many different genres. Like you could have picked got Buddy Guy and Hooker, and like so many of those guys too are so influential. It's just there's once again we're not going to make an intercontinental title type of list.
Right.
That goes back to radio days when we had someone list like 35 different people. But at any rate, all their contributions we definitely considered for sure. All right, a quick review preview, a little bit different because I just quickly wanted to talk about a documentary that I recently saw, and this was actually when I was like dealing with the migraine and the sickness, and I'm on the couch, and so I pulled up Netflix on my phone, and I wanted to see this when it was in theater, but it was kind of there, and then it was gone pretty quickly. Documentaries, unfortunately, don't play super well at the theater, but I would love to have seen this on the big screen with the sound. It would have been amazing. Becoming Led Zeppelin traces a journey of Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, and Robert Plant through their childhoods in post-war Britain, the music scene of the 60s, including Shirley Bassey performing Goldfinger theme. Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones played on that song.
That's so
They
cool.
were. I never knew this.
Wow.
They were session musicians, and they were hired to play Goldfinger.
Right.
And it's such an epic tune. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they
That's
played on
wild.
that.
Okay,
So I
cool.
loved hearing that. And then meeting in the summer of 68 and just this meteoric ascendancy throughout 1969 into the 70s when they literally, in less than 2 years, became the number one band
Wow.
in the world. The stories told by the band members, with the late Bonham represented through archival audio interviews, which was super cool. The film features full, never-before-seen footage of the band's early American and British concerts and unseen material from the band's personal archives. Chef's kiss, 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, that's solid.
I love a good documentary. I mean, there's some that will put you to sleep, no question. This one was done perfectly. And I love their first album. I think it's so raw and it's so heavy and bluesy. Been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true. Wanted a woman, never bargained for you. Hopefully we don't get a strike on that.
Yeah, right.
But at any rate, like, I love that album. I love everything about that. It was great.
That's
if you're a Led Zeppelin
fantastic.
fan, it's a must-watch.
Or a music fan.
Or music fan,
Yeah.
right? Because, I mean, as I always say, Led Zeppelin, The Who, and the Stones, and Sabbath to an extent, hard rock, metal, all the different genres of metal, it started there.
Yeah.
It just did. Even Cream, you could put Cream on there
Sure.
too, I suppose. But like that started it all. Like everybody heard that, and little Kirk Hammett and
Right.
and Bruce Dickinson and they were like, "Hey, all right, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do it a little bit faster. That's what we're gonna do." And hard rock and metal were born.
Yep.
So
Very true.
props to them always. Okay, before our next break, while you were sleeping, so a lot of times there's a documentary, a movie, a game, a show, something on YouTube, whatever. Aiden finds it. It's like, hey, I think a lot of us were sleeping on that. So what did we miss while we were sleeping?
Well, while you were sleeping, I actually did a little twist on this segment. You see, I am going to be previewing a game. That's right, previewing.
Shit. So you're really the review. So I did the review. You're doing the preview.
Yeah, while you were sleeping, I did a little flip-flop.
I love that.
So, I played the demo of this game. So, it's not full released yet. I played the demo of this game.
I love this. Okay.
It is awesome. It's only, I think the demo was only about 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay, but I think when the full game's released, it's going to be an hour or longer. But it is another indie horror game, but I am excited about it. It's called Fear Academy.
Fear Academy, okay.
So it should be releasing in the next couple weeks to month or two. But Fear Academy, a psychological horror game where you play as the principal of Hillcrest High, returning to retrieve a forgotten item. You become trapped in a nightmare as an ancient evil takes over the school that you are the principal of. So you have to explore, solve puzzles, and survive the lurking horrors to uncover the terrifying truth of this ancient evil. And, of course, in the demo, they don't give away too many of the story points or, like, plot twists or anything like that. You just get enough of a bite to know you want more.
Uh-huh.
And that's how a demo should be, even though I hate it because I just want to play the full game already.
Oh, sure.
But it looks incredible. Like, my graphics card had trouble, like, rendering and playing all of it just because it's all, like, high-res. You could argue it looks like a AAA game.
No shit.
And like most indie horror games, it'll probably just end up being $5 or $10, which I love because it's a little more in my financial wheelhouse.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, it looks incredible. It has a certain liminality to how it feels walking around this completely abandoned school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so creepy. And the story itself, which of course I'm not privy to a lot of, just through the demo and the article about the game is kind of all I know, but it looks remarkable. So I'm very excited to give my first preview of Fear Academy, an upcoming indie horror game that I'm pretty hype about.
That's awesome. Fear Academy.
Yes.
Now I looked at a few of the images on my phone, And so when you made the comment about your graphics card, it made a lot of sense.
Yes.
Like, it looks really
It's crisp.
sharp. Yeah.
It's crisp, yeah.
But at the same time, very haunting.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you get the liminal space vibes of it too, where it almost doesn't feel right being so big and so empty, and yet there's details everywhere of like, oh my god, no, this school was like lived in and participated in, and it just feels so weird.
I love that, man. That's amazing. Well, very cool. We're going to take a quick break and come back with our final segments. We're going to do our beer review, and then this week we're giving World of Weird News a little rest, as we do from time to time. Give Florida Man some chances to F some stuff up. And we're going to do a fun tier list. So we'll be right back. Hey everybody, we are back, and we're on to our final couple of segments here. And towards the end of the show, we always do our very popular beer review. And lately, I've been finding some excellent beers, and it's pretty excellent. This one, really more than anything, the artwork drew me to this can.
Sure,
because there's this like demon skeletal unicorn thing, and it's the Imperial Blood of the Unicorn.
It looks badass.
Like, say less, dude. I'm like, I whatever is in this can, I am consuming.
Yes.
So Aiden, why don't you tell the folks just a little bit about it?
Yeah, the Imperial Blood of the Unicorn is made by Pipeworks Brewing, which is a microbrewery out of Chicago, Illinois. So very, well, local enough. Local enough. It is a Imperial Red India Pale Ale.
Interesting.
Which is a pretty rare mix of the two. Typically, you either get a red ale, usually an Irish red ale, or you get an India Pale Ale. Well, they did both, and then they made it Imperial. So it's double ABV, so it's about 9.5%. So it's got some pizzazz to it, and it has 1.5 thousand rankings on the Untapped app, which is what we use to give our rankings and flavor notes and everything. A 3.96 average from the community.
Okay, so almost a 4.
Almost
out
a
of 5.
4. It won 2 awards. Untapped Community Awards 2025 and 2024 winner.
Oh,
so
wow.
People have really enjoyed this, and we're going to give our thoughts on this official beer review.
Let's do it.
The Pipeworks Brewing Company Imperial Blood of the Unicorn, Sláinte.
Sláinte.
And cheers to you at home. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That is right up my alley.
I figured this one would be.
Oh, yeah. For being an Imperial IPA, that is remarkably smooth. The hops are definitely toned down compared to
most IPAs.
But that the fact that it's a red ale, technically, a red IPA, I think maybe they put in less hops, or they put in different malt for that red ale.
That's likely.
It, makes that a little more sweeter. But yeah, it's got good malt to it. It has that IPA background where you get the flavor of the hops with a reduced bitterness, in my opinion. I really like this. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. And the thing, like most IPAs, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like things that are overly hoppy, but this one is not that. You get a little bit of it, but it doesn't bother me because of the overall flavor. I really enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is fantastic. I am flavor profile. So they always suggest the top 5 flavor profile notes on the app. And I usually go through and see what I do and do not agree with. I would give it malty. Smooth, absolutely. I don't think I'm going to give it hoppy.
Okay.
Especially for being an IPA, it's definitely not hop forward. I think the flavor of the hops is there without the bitterness to it. I'll give it boozy. It's pretty heavy, full flavored. But yeah, this is fantastic. I think I'm going up to a 4.5 out of 5 on this one.
Wow. That's a big score from you, man.
I really enjoy this.
That's good. I went with a 3.75 on this. And that's just typically because I'm not a big IPA guy.
That is high for an IPA for you,
But
though.
for me, most IPAs I'm somewhere between, if it's a good one, like a 3 to a 3 1/4 is about as high as I'll usually go.
Yeah.
So 3.75 is pretty high for me.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, no doubt. It's really good. So Blood of the Unicorn, Imperial Blood of the Unicorn. And that is Pipework.
Pipeworks Brewing.
Out of Chicago.
Out of Chicago. Not sponsored, but definitely recommended.
Someday, maybe.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
Would be amazing, actually. And I unlocked a badge, as you do on this app. I always... Photogenic Brew Level 5.
Nice.
Takes perfect amount of light and the right framing and touch to create of creative love to get the perfect picture of your brew. And apparently I've done that with 25 check-ins. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what we love to see. You're doing the Lord's work. Taking the photos.
I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. So at any rate, yeah, if hopefully your liquor store has it, grocery store, go out and get it.
Yeah. If not, reach out to your local distributor.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. That's my advice.
I would agree. And that moves us on to the final segment for the show, tier listing. And this week we're doing something that we love.
Yes.
And that is pizza.
Love dearly. And that is pizza.
And Aiden and I kind of go back and forth on like putting these together. So I'm very interested to see what he's actually got on there.
Yes.
Because you could do frozen. You could do like fast food pizza.
Right.
You can do like sit down nice pizza. I'm guessing it's a mix.
Well, you know what? You'd be mostly correct. You'd be mostly correct.
Let's go.
As the inventor of tier listing, a former AK219 segment, I did both. So you have 2 tier listings to do today.
Oh, okay.
Because I figured they're distinct enough.
Yes.
They should be separate. They should have, the same grading scale, F being the worst of the worst, D being bad, C being mid, B being good, A being great, S being the best of the best. So
of the best.
Of the best. You have 2 tier lists to do. Chain pizza and local pizza.
I love it.
We'll start with the chain pizza. I wanted them to be separate because otherwise all the chain pizza would be like D and all the local pizza would be like A.
That's true. That's a good point.
So we'll rank them as they are.
As the chain.
Starting off with chain pizza, Domino's.
I like Domino's a lot in terms of chain pizza. I like a lot of the other stuff on their menu too. It wouldn't have always been that way for me, but I figure like the last 4 or 5 years they really upgraded ingredients and how they do things. I'd put it as an A.
I would agree. I think I've always loved they do good pasta dishes.
Yes.
They have a fantastic garlic cheesy bread they do as well. So I would agree with that.
Yeah, pizza's very good.
Next up is Papa John's. This is tier listing for you. You are the tier list answer giver, but I do have strong...
Tier list E.
I have strong opinions about Papa John's.
No, that's fine. I've only had Papa John's a couple of times, and that's usually... I've never paid for it. Let me just go on record as saying that.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you're at a party and it pops up. That's when I've had it. And to me, it's very mid. I'm not overwhelmed either way. I don't think it's a worst pizza ever. I definitely do not think it's great pizza.
Right.
I would probably put it in the C- category if I'm being fair with it.
Sure. I can get down with that.
C-.
Yeah, I despise Papa John's. I don't...
Well, just him in general.
Yeah, Papa John himself is a shitbag, but even the pizza, pizza should be good enough to eat on its own. They have to put that little garlic dip in there because the crust is so fucking untasteful.
It's bad. It's not good.
You shouldn't have to add accessories to make your pizza palatable. But C- for Papa John's. Pizza Hut, next.
Well... They shut all ours down in our area. So
I think we talked about that on the show, too.
Yeah.
Legal disputes and lawsuits.
Yeah, with Yum Brands.
Yeah.
And Yum Brands owns KFC and Pizza Hut and everything. But when Pizza Hut was open, I thought it was good. When I was a kid, they used to have this amazing buffet. And they used to have slices of pizza on it and salads and pasta salads.
Yep.
And it was the best. I feel like Pizza Hut 20 years ago was different than Pizza Hut today.
It used to be a dine-in spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That being said, I think their pizza is pretty good. I would probably put it as a B.
As a B? That's fair. I would almost argue for B+. I think they do stuffed crust super well. I think the balance is not unfair. It's not too cheesy. It's not too bready.
Yeah.
I've always loved their stuffed crust. They've got great pepperoni, good tasting sausage. But yeah, then they all closed around here because of legal stuff. So.
Yeah, right.
Pizza Hut gets a B, Little Caesars.
I have that one a lot more because it's cheap.
Yes.
So the price point's very good. And so, like, you know, baseball team things, and we've done fundraisers at a radio station, so you're just kind of looking to feed the masses and not break the bank, and so it's good for that. But in terms of taste, it tastes like it costs.
Yeah, it tastes like a $6 or $7 pie.
It's a C. It's just straight up C.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Moving right along to this one, Papa Murphy's, which we used to have nearby and loved as wee lad. Well, I was a wee lad. And then they disappeared too.
It was like the Subway of pizza.
Yeah.
And you could just go up and they'd make it, and it was like par-baked, and you take home and finish the baking process. And I always liked it a lot, and I thought the ingredients were always pretty good. And the fact you could just be like, I want that, and it was just really neat, the whole process.
Yeah.
But the pizza itself was pretty tasty, and I think I'd go B.
I can get down with that. I think what killed them, if I remember right, people loved their sausage.
Yes.
And they changed the sausage.
They did.
People hated it, stopped going. They changed the sausage back to how it was, but it was too
late.
Too little, too late.
Yep.
Yeah. Next up, Hungry Howie's.
Hungry Howie's, another one we just lost. I actually kind of like it. It's more like the Detroit style type of pizza, which I do like. I often found I got stomach issues at least a couple times when I had it.
There was something with that, yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was in the sauce or what it was, but something really bugged me. The taste was always good. I thought the crust was always really good.
I agree.
C+.
C+ for Hungry Howie's. Jet's Pizza, speak of Detroit style.
That is my favorite Detroit style pizza. I had that first up in Michigan one time, and then we have it now down here in Indiana. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's here.
And it's good.
And
I enjoy it.
It's really good. It's the best Detroit style in this category. I give it a very solid B+. I really, really like it.
I would agree. It's the best Detroit style we can get, not in Detroit.
Not in Detroit, correct.
The final two for chain pizza, Sbarro.
And that's mostly in your shopping malls and stuff.
Yeah.
So you just think of incredibly mid-food in a shopping mall.
True.
I love Sbarro. I love their ziti because they have this spicy sauce. It has this kick.
Yeah.
And like I used to go there and do that. And I'm like, one of these days I'll have to get a slice of pizza. It is more New York style, which is not my favorite.
Floppy, right?
A little flop to it. But like their ingredients are good, and the pizza is always very flavorful. Solid B on Sbarro.
Solid B.
I do like Sbarro.
B for Sbarro. Final chain, CC's.
See you later. I do remember that. Remember that. I love the crazy combos that they had there. Actually, my favorite CC pizza was the mac and cheese
that was
pizza.
So good.
It was fucking ridiculously good. I don't know of any other place that does that.
No. Aldi had a take and bake mac and cheese pizza for a while. And then they just don't carry it anymore. I'm like, no.
Killer. No, I really like it. I really like CC's. And that was like, you could get it to go, but like we would just go there as like a day out, be like, oh, let's get CC's. And we'd go and we'd eat there. And it was really a family place. You see a lot of kids because it wasn't quite as cheap as Little Caesars, but it was affordable. Yeah. And you could go up and be like, I want a slice of that and I want a slice of that. And it was
buffet style. It's kind of what Pizza Hut... CC's today is what Pizza Hut was a decade and a half ago.
Correct. I agree. I agree with that. And I really like it, man.
I remember as a wee lad, we used to get that, and we would get like coupons for it for the buffet, and it'd be like 5 or 6 bones a person.
It's not bad, yeah.
For quite unlimited pizza, it's like shit.
Unlimited pizza and drinks, and you're just going ham on that stuff. And they had the little desserts at the end that you get. I like their pizza. Right now I'm in between a B and a B+. I'm not sure where I want to go on that. But that mac and cheese pizza.
Oh, yeah.
The way I look at it, that was an A.
Yes.
That pizza was an A. So I think I'll go B+. I think that's fair.
I would agree. We now move on. I have 8 Chicago chains.
Oh.
And this is going to be all you. I'm going to just let you fire these off.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Kick it off with this one. Giordano's.
Giordano's love it. Their deep dish is good. You got that big cheese pull. Their thin crust is excellent.
Yes.
And A plus.
A plus for Giordano's strong start. Remember, those listening at home, this is a completely different tier list, Chicago chains. So if you're thinking, oh, Giordano's only got a plus over Domino's, no. This is a different list.
Different category.
Different category. Lou Malnati's.
Lou Malnati's. I don't even know if they have a thin crust. I've only had their deep dish.
Yes, I would agree.
But their crust is excellent. The cheese, the ingredients. Oh, I got to put it as superior, man.
S.
I got to give it S rating.
I was going to be cross with you if you didn't give him an S.
Yeah, I have to do it.
S for Lou Malnati's. Gino's East.
Gino's East. Man, they got this pizza called Wheel of Meat.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And I think it's like
Holy
sausage
shit.
and pepperoni and ground beef and bacon. It's stupid, but it's so good.
Yeah.
It's like you get like a different flavor in every bite. It's so good. Gino's East I like a lot. I would give it probably an A minus.
A minus for Gino's East. Totally fair. This is a more local one, I believe. Gelsasimo's.
Gelsasimo's, that's Northwest Indiana for sure. They have a little bit sweeter sauce.
True.
But their thin crust is really good. I do like it. We used to get it once in a while.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, your sister Sarah used to call it Gerasimos.
That's right.
None of us understood why, but they all ended up calling it that. I would give it a B.
A B for Gelsasimo's.
Yes, correct.
Next up, Pizzeria Uno.
Pizzeria Uno Superior. That took me zero time to even think about that. I love it.
No notes.
I'm not, once again, I'm not much of a deep dish guy. I do prefer the tavern style, which is a thin crust. But when I do have the deep dish, it's my number one choice. Superior all the way.
Fantastic. Next up is a local one to our hearts, Fox's.
Fox's is superior. One of the best tavern styles that you can get. And trust me when I say it is on the south side. The south side has 5 or 6 S-tier tavern style pizza places without a doubt. But Fox's I grew up on a couple blocks from my house. We used to walk over and you know, my mom and dad would buy it. What was my take on it? I had to go pick it up. No problem. I walked down the street, grabbed the pie. Always excellent. Their ingredients are top notch. And it was always, and that they got the on the bottom of it the cornmeal.
Yeah, that's right.
On the bottom, which is just
that's right.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. The penultimate one. Don't get it confused, listeners from afar. You may be used to seeing this in your frozen section, but it's a little special here for us because we get to eat it fresh. Home Run Inn.
Home Run Inn. Another excellent pizza, deep dish or thin crust. It is in the frozen section.
But we get the brick and mortar here.
But we get the brick and mortar, south side of Chicago. There's a couple of spots for Home Run Inn pizza. The sauce has a very unique flavor. I think different than most pizza sauces. It's very good, very rich. The crust is this buttery crust that...
Flaky.
Is flaky,
yeah.
Yes. Flaky is a great description. Right now, I'm wavering. Close to S tier, but I'm going A plus.
A plus for Home Run Inn, and if we do a part 2 of this, which includes frozen pizzas and other things of that sort, you may hear their name again. Final one on the local pizzas list, Pequod's.
Oh, that is a pizza on the north side of Chicago. Once again, deep dish or thin crust. It is constantly voted near or at the top every time there's like a pizza competition nationwide. It's right there. I've had it a couple of times. I do like it. I'm hesitant to give it the S tier though, because I know that's that's the popular thing to do. But I've had so much pizza in that damn town that I have to rate it that way.
Sure.
And I give it an A without question. It's an excellent pizza, but there are others that I put above it.
Yes, totally fair. Totally fair. That is the end of both tier listings today. A quick recap on our chains. Domino's got an A, Papa John's C-, Pizza Hut B, Little Caesars C, Papa Murphy's B, Hungry Howie's C+, Jets Pizza got a B+, Sparrow got a B, Cece's Pizza got a B+, Chicago and local chains, Giordano's A+, Lou Malnati's S, Gino's A-, Gelsasimo's B, Pizzeria Uno S, Fox's S, Home Run Inn A+, and Pequod's got an A.
Yep, that's it.
We love our pizza around here.
Yes, indeed we do. And that is all the time we have this week. And I want to thank all of you for listening. Please like and subscribe and share and all that kind of good stuff. Feel free to look us up on the socials and engage with us. Share us your thoughts and information and things like that. I want to thank Aiden, his podcast, AK219, and Aiden spelled the right way. Check that content out. Great gaming content. Check it out on the old YouTubes.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it.
And also want to thank a lot of local supporters of our shows: Geitonia Greek Grill, Smoketown Blues Barbecue, Valpo, YMCA, Currie, Ford, Valpo, Currie, Buick, GMC, Simko Signs, Life Care Centers of Valpo, and of course the Entertainer Magazine, and this guy right here, Aiden Maloney. Not only is he a great co-host, does a lot of work on the back end too, so I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Always good to be here.
All right. Hope you enjoy this show, and we will catch you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend.